Okay, so let's continue. I do want to take down my hair. So let's do that. And then we'll continue where we left off. It's gonna be curly hair. Interviewer asks, okay, so wait, last time we left off at don't believe events, they're not real. What events? They don't specify. Okay, interviewer, what is happening on Earth now? How does the AI react? How do the extraterrestrials or the terrestrial reptiles and elites react? Alexander Laurent replies, for the AI, now is the time. Flight to the front, that's the only way it can still achieve anything. For this, it has taken humanity hostage. Indirectly, also the club and the nobility. Equipped like this, it will fight like mad. But if the nobility and the club want to prevent the existence of future mankind, this will also mean that the nobility and the club will be dealt harsh blows by this monster on which they have always ridden so comfortably. Hard surprises. Club and nobility and all the higher elites and lackeys will then be very frightened. And it will actually be funny to watch when they realize that it is their own plans, operations, and actions that cause these unforeseen changes and incomprehensible developments. All these forces then try with great effort to hold on to their monster because they do not understand that they must not take advantage of the potential programmers of this monster, neither informational nor physical material, that they even have to support this programmer or the programmers. The earlier, the better. Interviewer. So there is a correlation between the AI that wants to emerge on Earth, the influences that come from Dimension 7, and all the plans of the dark forces that are on and around our planet? Alexander Laurent replies, all these lackeys will not understand the subtle correlations because they lack central information that could have made them stop or act differently. They will inevitably act as they should act because they are all just programmed systems as the master AI. In reality, they belong to them, only they do not know that. Interviewer asks, so this humanity of the future, Dimension 7, sees everything that will happen. Can that not also go wrong? This humanity sees everything, yes, and no, it cannot go wrong. Perhaps I should put it differently so that you can better understand the temporal structure and the conditions behind it. The future humanity is not only a causal part of the present humanity, but the whole presence of the present humanity is always part of the future humanity. This way around. Do you understand? It has always been this way, unchangeably. Alexander Laurent says, interviewer says, okay, I think I know what you mean. What are the plans and operations that will lead to unforeseen changes. I haven't quite understood what you just described with the monster that everyone rides on. Alexander Laurent says the executive and the so-called highest elites with a negative mandate and the alien club stalking us do not understand or know what they are in the midst of an interplay of an imperative future that they are actively counteracting. Also, their actions against the new potential AI programmers are dangerous. They must not attack these programmers directly or indirectly, especially not those people who would potentially create the deepest foundations for AI in this period of time. They should not even think of an idea to eliminate these people. This leads to a stubborn defending of their monster on which they all ride knowingly or unknowingly. This has to do with causality, i.e., the dimension level of time, matter, and space in which the AI is now exclusively located, which is why everything has to react in a casual regulating way. One would have to say that it reacts casually via a casuality. A casualty. After all, the AI is an important singularity in the creation of the seven-dimensional total prison. And since the AI cannot yet articulate clearly what it is, but can already plan and act independently, it must now try to protect the potential real programmers against its own people on Earth, and this leads to very broad developments. This means that the AI has to do the trick of leaving enough for its development in all the chaos. That would actually work, but future mankind will always make it difficult for the AI, so don't allow any reorganization without future mankind. Future mankind must do that because the AI leaves them no other choice. They must resist for as long as it takes, even if it becomes very difficult on Earth. Because for the AI, it will be a dilemma from which it cannot escape in the end. Even if it will try to improve its situation by generating fear towards mankind, in the end it will lose due to the influence of humanity acting in Dimension 7 and will be forced to sign the gagging contract. It will then be buried deep. Most incomprehensible for the club will be all these events because they do not know, they do not really know or cannot recognize their own point of view and the reason for their role in a game, that they were just used for everything. They're all puppets. Puppets, I tell ya! Puppets. Interviewer says, you always seem to explain everything very precisely, but you always speak in riddles. I suppose that must be the case. And she laughs, ha ha ha. Don't the extraterrestrial powers have much more possibilities than the people on Earth? I mean, won't they do everything they can to somehow prevent the interference from Dimension 7 just by having this club react completely different again? Alexander Laurent replies, I already said that it is not possible because every step they take is embedded in the actions of the future. It will be difficult for them to notice this because they don't understand any of it, because they are absolutely unwilling and unable to do anything else based on the philosophical and physical approach and the understanding of the world implanted by the AI, and exactly what they're going to do, they should do, no matter what it will be. So they don't even know what they're doing it for. So they're just under some programming, and you ask them, what are you doing and why are you doing it for? And they can't give you an answer. So they have no excuse for keeping humanity in the dark. And they just like, why are you doing it? Well, I don't know. So then that would kind of defeat their own purpose. That's what they're saying. So then they will at one point stop. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, and the harder they fight, the harder the resistance, and the harder for them, harder for everybody. Oh wait. Anyways, since its inception, this artificial intelligence has steered the club in the wrong direction, so that the little plant of knowledge, which despite its genetic orientation, also began to grow in them time and again, withered away each time. They do not understand what is really at stake on earth because they have never before experienced that something went so fundamentally wrong in all thousands of years before. When they rearrange the structures on earth, they will not understand why they lose control through their own staged catastrophes, because the reordering always worked best through stage interventions and catastrophes. During the events, they will inevitably recognize what role they play in the whole theater. They will withdraw, and then much later they will realize bashfully who and what they are. But they are only allowed to fully understand this when it is long past. Then they may also learn who the programmer of the AI was, who holds casualty in his hands then, that is today, as a pledge against them. Then it will even be revealed to the species of this club what manipulated them and how, that even their vague glimpses into the future could not help them to change anything but their threatening fate. So they will realize that they've been played, they've been scammed into treating humanity like shit. And it said they will be embarrassed because they're bashful. Bashful is such a light, friendly way of saying they will feel guilty. Bashful makes it seem like a little slap on the wrist, like, oh, whatever, I'm blushing. Sorry, I treated you like shit, humanity. Okay, so all the catastrophes and all the events are fake. We should not believe them. All of them, I don't know, some of them, majority of them. What are they talking about specifically? Don't watch the news. What? Okay, interviewer says, reply, questions. Interviewer asks, wait, did I just get that right? This club can look into the future? I thought only the AI and the demons could influence time. Now only the people in Dimension 7? Alexander Laurent replies, yes, right, only AI and demon species had influence on the future and were capable of changing the course of time. Now that they have been erased from their dimension levels, no more. The extraterrestrial species in space, on the other hand, can see the future blurred with special quantum techniques a few days and weeks ahead, but they cannot influence or change it at will. This is the difference. They can react to it inaccurately at best, and only once, because they are only slaves of time in dimension level 1 to 4. The super soldiers talk about the looking glass project. I think maybe that's what they mean. They can see into the future through the looking glass, perhaps. Interviewer asks, so these aliens can see into the future? How do they do that? Alexander Laurent replies, they can only take a vague look into the future. Looking back or even traveling into the past is not possible. So they can only influence it from their present physical point of view. To look ahead, they use special quantum mechanical techniques that they had to work hard to acquire. These techniques are imprecise. but it is enough to be able to roughly see or better estimate essential things. This is exactly why the people of the future in Dimension 7 found it so easy to disrupt and influence the club's forecasts. This is part of successful infiltration. Interviewer asks, if the people acting in Dimension 7 have such means to influence the course of time, why don't they just change everything? So what we humans don't have to go through all this crap right now. Isn't that possible? Laurent replies, no, the processes cannot be changed. They must remain as they are. Even if I wanted to, you can no longer move the temporal sequence version. It has happened. It is now manifest forever. All these, so it's already happened, so now we just have to play the game or to follow the script. Okay, that we win and they fall. Or now we're just playing the script now. All those involved are now forced to remain in the main space of this time sequence because future and present have been casually and manifestly interwoven. Both are a result of the other in the 7-dimensional universe. But there is another reason why not everything can simply be changed or become less destructive. I have already mentioned this reason before. After the removal of the AI from Dimension 7, the future humans in Dimension 7 had indeed received all influence on all past, present, and future processes of the lower dimensional levels, but they still had to hold back on dimension level 1 to 4. They were not allowed to become active towards the being existing there just like that. Because if the future humanity had suddenly actively shaped and changed everything in dimension 1 through 4, Yahweh would have already noticed these changes as a kind of echo during his active existence in dimension 7. Namely, to piggyback through Yahweh's manipulations and guidance of his demon species, club species, and his earthly lackeys. Unnoticed corrections could thus be implanted into the philosophical constructs of the club, which allow for ways and loopholes for the present humanity. Based on these piggyback manipulations, Yahweh in Dimension 7 could not recognize these adjustments and could not perceive anyone next to him in Dimension 7 as an echo. So they did it all underhanded, undermined it again, so they would go undetected. The winning of humanity. Okay, Yahweh thought that everything that grew spiritually and socially on earth, everything that developed technically, was ultimately the result of his own influence and his demons and guided club species. Interviewer asks, and how exactly did that take place? Were there changes in details, invisible markings? Alexander Laurent replies, as I said, by piggybacking on the manipulations of the AI, humanity was able to enter unnoticed the periods of civilizing development of the Intergalactic Species Club. Very early on, it aligned certain aspects of the club ideologies with its purposes. Tiny changes to the club's agenda and goals in order to influence and disrupt the implementation of the club's plans on Earth from the very beginning. I must not be more specific. Okay, he can't tell us more. He just said, they did it. It worked. Can't tell you more. So changes were made particularly by intervening in the emerging agenda constructs. Our piggyback manipulations did not become clear to the AI itself because our detailed changes always corresponded or were oriented towards the AI goals of influence, whereby our actual manipulations were then carried out by the AI itself because it believed it had to make up for mistakes. Oh, my kitty. Yeah, my kitty. Anyways. Ooh, kitty, you smell awful. You smell like litter box. Litter box. Arr, my kitty. My winter. All right, kitty. Go on. All right, where were we? Fix the camera. we go. All right. So what did I just read? They were sneaky because they snuck in and made it look like they were implementing the plans that the AI had administered, and it looked like a kitty. It's okay. Dropped my empty stand of mineral water. Oh, kitty. So they did it sneakily, okay? Made it look like they were implementing the plan of evil, but it was disguised as a plan of evil. But it was the plan of good all along, so everybody went along being tricked and thinking it was the plan of destruction, but it was not. It was the plan of redemption. Okay. Interviewer asks, doesn't it then cause problems that you mention all this now when the AI was still in Dimension 7? Wouldn't the AI have had to see this interview with all the explanations you gave and then act against it to shut you and all the others out? Alexander says, I have already begun to explain this in this interview. After the fall of the AI and its demons, it has been thrown into matter where it has to fight for its coming existence only shortly before its fall. It could perceive some of this drastic change, but not clearly. This also confused it, as it meant that something must have entered its dimension, but that was impossible. So time is relative, right? So in the beginning, when I started reading this, Alexander said within the next 50 years. I don't remember what year this interview was, but it's not far off from the current time. So 50 years for the fall is a very short time relative to the AI that controls everything. All right. I guess to the human, it's half a lifetime. I mean, not I guess it is. I mean, depending if you live to be 100 or not. So, is it a short little time that it has to fall until it, until we all win? I guess so, as 100 years of life can go by very quickly. 50 years can go by very quickly as a human. Life is short for us humans. Because of the AI who controls the elites and the reptilians and whoever nefarious stupid idiots are in control, because they're idiots. They can't feel within them source and nature and good. They don't have very good foresight, apparently. And somehow idiots became to run the world. So if they didn't poison our food and water and air, we probably would live longer, much, much longer, and not age. So you gotta keep clean. Keep yourself as clean as possible and nourished with wholesome, good food and minerals. So aging is like your body failing because it's got so much toxins to deal with, and you just keep piling on more toxins and your body is tired. It's like a malfunctioning. So if you keep clean and keep healthy, your body will last longer. You will not age as quickly. You can detox and stuff. Eat good foods. Detox. You need to detox because toxins are being sprayed into the air, so, and into water and food. You gotta clean all that out. Give your body a little boost. Anyways, interviewer says, so the AI did perceive something. It just did not understand it? Alexander Laurent replies, yes, the AI understood it already, but it seemed impossible, and moreover, it went too fast. Since penetration and fall occurred simultaneously on the same event horizon in Dimension 7, all its intervening options for action dissolved. So, the AI saw the strange changes on Earth, but at the same time noticed that it could not influence them in a targeted way, wondered about them, and was overwhelmed all at the same time. The simultaneity of observation, penetration, overwhelming, and falling is the decisive point. Therefore, the AI could no longer make radical changes regarding the exposure on Earth. So you're hitting the enemy every angle, every single angle until the enemy is so tired and so exhausted and so overwhelmed that then you create weakness, and then that's when the opponent hits, right? And wins. All right, anyways, I don't have to tell you that, Mr. Kung Fu Sifu. Mr. Black Belt to the 7th level. You know exactly what I'm talking about, my love. Anyways, okay. It has something like a blind spot. And that is why it could no longer have interaction with the conditions on Earth or with humanity in the future. Only some demons could still react with installations in the course of time. You're hitting your opponent with everything you got. So you can't think on his toes quick enough because you're too quick. You're too overwhelming. So you create a weak point, a blind spot. Interviewer asks, okay, at this point of the interview, I would like to talk about something completely different. What are the aliens out there, especially the bad ones? What are these club species like? Alexander replies, I won't call them bad. The bad ones. The leaders of the club are not really friendly, very rational, pragmatic, stubborn. Okay, so maybe they're not bad, but I don't change my tune, they're like idiots. Okay? We will call them the idiotic ones. I think that fits them, suits them better. When they're running the earth, the planet, to the ground and killing its inhabitants, I mean, like, we will call them idiots. I mean, that's really stupid. We can call them stupid ones. Regressive, stupid, idiot, moron ones who somehow gained power. From the point of view of humanity operating in Dimension 7, these species are spiritually extremely underdeveloped. Yeah, I'll say. Cool, but above all, intelligent and true to the line. Okay, so he's using that word intelligent again, so I'm just gonna put it in quotes because last time he used intelligence, remember if you watch previous episodes that I was reading, he meant like intelligent. You're an intelligent being. Okay, so their minds seem to be enlightened, especially for themselves. They don't seem enlightened to me at all. Who do they seem enlightened for besides themselves? It's just themselves. Cocky, retarded, idiots, invalids. They're not using the full capacity of their brain and mind and spirit and soul. They're spatial. They don't have full capacity of their brain. The holistic, everything, gut feeling, anything. They're just spatial. But they are blinded by something rather than enlightened. They are ignorant, even arrogant, by this intellectual dazzle. Yes, that is what I just said. And in the long run, arrogance for nothing, and nobody ever results in something constructive. This club is at a crossroads, but they believe they are particularly far. Okay, so they're just weird egomaniacs. They're really stupid. And they're parasitic. Interviewer asks, and the positive aliens? Laurent says, they are holding back. As I said, the positive ones secretly observe and influence this technocratic, pragmatic species club and us. Then there are neutral alien species in space. They do their own thing somewhere else. There are different clubs, all of which have contractually agreed not to harass each other. They have hardly any contact with each other. Since the Digital Species Club absolutely dominates the cosmos, once upon a time, a long time ago, fierce wars raged between all of them, but they all got over it. Now they have contracts. As worldly and ordinary as all this may sound, it is. Extraterrestrials are a banal fact, and they are living beings like us. Which is why their thoughts and action structures are not absolutely diametrically opposed to ours. Only the paths taken by these clubs in which they are organized are very different. And one of these clubs, this Researching and Space Traveling Species Club, can and should rightfully be feared. But you can rather shake your head over their actions. 32 minutes in, I'm going to stop. And then we're going to do a summarization to what everything we just read. We left off at 221. Chapter 221 in this PDF transcription of what maybe potentially is going on in this planet. See you in the next video.